For only the second time, the Ironman has come to the picturesque community of Lake Placid and the surrounding mountains and streams of the Adirondacks. It's a nature lover's paradise. But it was the Winter Olympics that put Lake Placid on the international stage. Americans from coast to coast celebrated the miracle on ice. And Eric Heiden, as he went on to win 5 gold medals on the speed skating oval. Last year, on the very same oval, 2 new heroes emerged, Thomas Hellriegel and Heather Fuhr. They won the inaugural Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon. Over 1,700 triathletes have come to Lake Placid. Many are hoping now to simply finish. Others are here to become champions.
It's going to be a beautiful day today.
Canadian Melissa Spooner comes into the event as the favourite. She already has a pair of Ironman titles to her credit, but her last Ironman did not go as planned. She was forced to retire after the bike. American Mary Uhl has returned confident that she can win it all. The runner-up in Lake Placid in 1999, Uhl followed that up with a 13th place finish in Hawaii, 1 position in front of today's favourite, Melissa Spooner. Juliana Nievergelt is another of the strong American women to watch. The 40-year-old has never won an Ironman, but a pair of 10th place finishes in Hawaii is proof that she can. For the men, the numbers may favour American Tony DeBoom. Last year in Hawaii, his brother Tim finished 3rd at the World Championship. At Ironman California, Tony's sister-in-law Nicole DeBoom had an incredible debut Ironman, also taking 3rd. Today, Tony plans on continuing the family's good fortunes, and he wants to win. But a pair of Camerons could spoil the DeBoom party. Cameron Widoff has 4 top 15 Ironman Hawaii finishes to his credit. Cameron Brown has a pair of 2nds at Ironman New Zealand and a 3rd here last year. In misty conditions, we're moments away from the beginning, as over 1,700 athletes get ready now for the mass swim start. For 788 of these men and women, this will be their first time trying to complete an Ironman. 2.4 miles in the water, 112 on the bike, followed by the marathon distance of 26.2 miles. They have 17 hours to complete their journey.
The gun just went off, and here we are at the start of the 2000 Isuzu Ironman. There's a mass of humanity starting right over my shoulder here. It's going to be a great day. We've had incredibly wet weather the entire week. They expect a clear day. We're a little bit shrouded in cloud cover right now, but we're looking for a fast course. In the men's race, Cameron Brown from New Zealand is certainly the pre-race favorite. He was 3rd here last year and told me 2 days ago that he was injured in the 99 race. He's ready this year. He's 30 minutes faster. Now that's frightening for the rest of the male competitors. But we've got Tony DeBoom and Cameron Widoff from the USA who said, this course is similar to the mountains back home, and I'm ready for him. On the women's side, Mary Uhl was 2nd in last year's race and said she can take it this year. But interestingly, Melissa Spooner, who won an Ironman race in New Zealand last year, said, this one's mine.
In poor visibility, John Van Vies of the United States sets the pace, followed by Russia's Alex Rukasoyev, a definite threat. In 3rd place, the Canadian Len Gouche, and American Kevin Joyce has 4th. In the chase pack, Cameron Brown finds himself in an uncomfortable position. Right in front of him is Tony DeBoom, brother of Tim, the man that stole victory from Brown at Ironman New Zealand. Today, Brown would love to turn the tables on the DeBooms.
It's a course where, if you've done it before, then you know all the ins and outs, where every little hill is, and I think it's one of the toughest courses around, just due to the wind, the terrain, and the weather.
Also in the chase pack, Jimmy Riccatello, the 2-time champion of the St. Croix International Triathlon. He has set his sights on winning an Ironman. So far, so good. At the back of the chase pack in orange, Cameron Widoff. He has 4 top 15 finishes at Ironman Hawaii, but is yet to win an Ironman event.
I'd like to win them all. Why not? I think that the race in Hawaii is an event that I've done 10 years now in a row, and I have probably more experience than a lot of the guys out there my age.
Kristen Johnson in the dark blue cap and Andrea Fisher wearing pink are up front in the women's race. Fisher led for much of last year's event, but a 3:40 clocking on the marathon dropped her well back.
I feel like I'm ready for it. I feel better prepared this year. I've taken it more seriously, and so I've come in here with a lot of confidence and a couple wins this year under my belt, so I'm happy and I'm ready to go.
One of the women who caught Fisher in 1999 was Mary Uhl. She would go on to finish second when only Canadian Heather Fure would be stronger. But this year it's another of the Canadian Ironman champions, Melissa Spooner, who is trying now to rebound back from Ironman California.
California just wasn't my day. The water temperature was really cold, and the really short of it was I got hypothermia. My body temperature, core body temperature dropped, and ironically I had the best swim I've ever had at an Ironman.
Well, today will not be Spooner's best swim. She no longer has goggles as she struggles now to stay close. The four top men, Van Vies, Rukasoyev, Joyce and Gooch, are on the second half of their swim, already a minute and a half up as they try to put a gap on the stronger cyclists.
We've got the second group coming in right now, and it's a gigantic group. We've got men and women and some of the top pros, Tony DeBoom and Jimmy Riccatello, who we think are going to be the top, Cameron Brown from New Zealand, Julie Nievergelt from the U.S., Cameron Whiteoff. They're all here in this second group, but they're a minute and a half down. It's really surprising in the first half of the swim that we've got this margin.
Women's top contender Melissa Spooner is still out on the first loop, already 2 minutes back as the swim leaders continue to pull away. The 2000 Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon is brought to you by Isuzu. We don't make cars because life is too big for cars. And by IronmanLive.com, your only source of live Ironman race coverage from around the world.
Mud-free mud flaps. Bug-free grills. Some people treat SUVs like they're cars. At Isuzu, we don't build SUVs that get mistaken for cars. That's why we're not afraid to back them with America's longest warranty. Because we know it's more fun getting dirty than getting clean.
Is your printer out of ink again? Cartridges cost a bundle. Don't replace it, refill it with the Universal Inkjet Refill System. The simple way to refill your inkjet printer or fax cartridge for a fraction of the price. A new replacement cartridge could cost $50, but the Universal Inkjet System gives you the same results for as little as $5. Just fill the injector with ink from the bottle and insert it into the cartridge. That's all there is to it. Place the cartridge back in your fax or printer. The Universal Inkjet System works with any make, model, or brand, guaranteed for any inkjet printer or fax.
I have a home business, and it used to be such a hassle for me to run out and get a replacement cartridge. Now I have the Universal Refill Kit. It's so easy and inexpensive, and it's there when I need it.
It's Murphy's Law. You always run out of ink at the wrong time, and there's no way to tell when you're running low. Now I always have a refill handy.
Faxes, printers, all those cartridges. It's so confusing. Now I can refill all my cartridges with one kit.
Why spend $30 when you can get the same results for just $5? The savings are amazing.
Order your refill kit for only $19.95. It'll refill your cartridge up to 4 times. You'll get complete instructions for every cartridge and a toll-free number for technical assistance. Call in the next 10 minutes and get 50% more ink free. Enough ink to refill 6 cartridges. A $180 value for $19.95 when you do it yourself with our refill system. Also ask about our color inkjet refill kit. Our refill kits are guaranteed to work in your printer or fax machine or your money back. Order now.
To order the Universal Inkjet Refill System for only $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling, call 1-800-292-1600 or send a check or money order to Ontel Direct. To Daniel Road East, Fairfield, New Jersey, 07004. So call 1-800-292-1600 and order today.
This is Phil Liggett welcoming you back to the Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon. The view there for all to see. The 1,700 athletes are now underway, and it's Alek Rukasoyev who has grabbed the lead after the 2.4-mile swim. The next stage, 112 miles on the bike. That's if you stay upright. 3 minutes off the lead, Tony de Boom has had a solid swim. And right behind de Boom, men's top seed Cameron Brown exits the water. The top three women, Andrea Fischer, Kristen Johnson and Karen Svensson, have spent the entire swim together and will start the bike ride the same way. Rukasoyev is out on the bike now, trying to hold off the stronger bike riders. His immediate threat is Tony de Boom, who is already gaining on him. And Andrea Fischer is the quickest woman in the transition area. As she heads onto the bike course, the other women have to catch her. But Kristen Johnson has no plans of letting her swim partner get away. Juliana Nievergelt was fourth out of the water, while Cameron Brown is off in pursuit of the leaders. And right behind him, Cameron Widoff has also had a solid swim, just over 3 minutes behind Rukasoyev's pace. Just seconds into the bike, and Cameron Brown has been dealt a major blow.
To me, Rudy!
While miles ahead now, Rukasoyev continues with the lead. A frustrating time for Brown as Cameron Widoff goes by. This is the downside of long-distance triathlon races. Brown's not the only favourite having difficulty either. Melissa Spooner is out of the water in 12th place, more than 4.5 minutes back. During the swim, Spooner was accidentally hit in the face. The blow was so hard, it broke her goggles. She was forced to swim the second loop without eye protection. There are still hundreds of athletes coming out of the water. Some are hoping to improve on past performances. Others are just looking to complete the grueling event in the allotted 17 hours. Among them, 41-year-old physical therapist from Montpelier, Vermont. Her name, Donna Smyers.
I sign up for these races because I like to have a reason to train. If I didn't commit to doing something, I would probably go home and have a glass of wine. And by being signed up for the race, I go home and I train, and I like to train, but I need that little pressure to get me out the door.
Donna's last name may sound familiar. Her sister is Karen Smyers, a former Ironman Hawaii champion. But today, she is here as Donna's #1 fan.
Donna's funny, you know, she just loves to race. She'll just pick out these crazy events. Ironmans are right up her alley, and her goals are generally just to find the hardest event she can and do well in it. She's continually surprising me.
Donna was just over an hour in the water. Now comes her favorite discipline, the bike, and the hillier the better. She's picked the perfect race despite the weather in the Adirondack Mountains. Back up front, Alek Rukasoyev has dropped his swimming partner, Len Goosh. But he may not be alone for long. Tony de Boom, 7th out of the water, and over 3 minutes back, is on the move. The pass on Goosh moves him up into 2nd place, just a minute now behind Rukasoyev. Jimmy Riccatello, Cameron Widoff and others are also closing in on the leader. But for now, Cameron Brown, the man they thought they would be chasing, is over 5 minutes back after that flat. Melissa Spooner is also starting the bike with a deficit, but unlike Brown, she's begun to move up. 12th out of the water, she has quickly moved into 4th, 3 minutes off the lead. 2 minutes ahead of Spooner, Andrea Fischer in the orange and Mary Ellen Powers are locked together in a battle for second. But early on, the story of the women's race belongs to Juliana Nievergelt, an unexpected leader to many, but the 40-year-old has finished 5th twice in Ironman Germany. Today, Nievergelt is looking for her first Ironman title. In 5th, Kristen Johnson's time near the front seems to be over as she begins to lose ground. For the women, over 8 hours of racing still remains.
You need to monitor your investments, but you don't need a computer monitor to do it. AT&T Digital PocketNet service with free unlimited access to TV Waterhouse and more. Wireless from AT&T, your world close at hand.
AT&T Digital PocketNet service, the only way to get access to the wireless internet without using any of your calling plan minutes.
So kids, are you looking forward to pizza tonight?
Yay, pizza! That's swell, Pop. Where did you order from?
Well, dear, I thought we'd try Freewheeler Pizza tonight. That's probably Freewheeler now.
Don't forget to tip the nice driver.
Sure thing, dear.
Pizza! Yay!
Hoo-ah!
Rock on, Dad!
Mention this ad and get a 16-inch big wheel and a dozen rolls for $15.99. Freewheeler Pizza.
Tonight on ESPN at 7:30 NFL Primetime, at 9 World Figure Skating Championships Exhibition Round, and at 11 Sports Center. On ESPN2 at 8, the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Tour. At 9 RPM tonight, and at 10 ESPN2's Thunder, plus The Bottom Line. And on ESPN Classic at 7, Classic Click and Pick. At 9, Real Classics presents Bang the Drum Slowly. And at 11:30, a profile of Lou Gehrig. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
We're back at the 2000 Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon. Blue skies are now with us, the mist has rolled away, and the day has warmed. The men have been racing now for 2 hours. Alek Rukasoyev has led for most of it, but Tony de Boom has erased his 3-minute deficit out of the water. Here's Dave Scott again.
Well, here comes the pass. Tony de Boom in his saddle, Alek Rukasoyev up out of the saddle. And we're just made the turn from Jay heading towards Wilmington on a long 3-mile climb. And for Alek, it's a little bit devastating knowing that that big margin that he had out of the swim has now been gobbled up. And they've got a decisive lead over the third-place person. In fact, they're not even in view right now, but we did notice Michael Lovato and Jimmy Riccatello kind of working together, and we should see them fairly soon.
Your 6-week plan, Dave. It's great.
We got Len Gouge coming by, and he's yelling at me as we were going by. And Michael Lovato's out of the saddle in 4th place, and Jimmy Riccatello just right behind him. And 4 of the top guys we thought at the outset would be there. Alek Rukasoyev, Tony de Boom, who's now in the lead, and the 4th and 5th guys, Lovato and Riccatello. It's going to be a great race. We've got Cameron Whiteoff coming by in 6th place right now, and certainly one of the pre-race favorites. Looks very comfortable. But what we're missing from that lead group and what we anticipated is the other Cameron Brown from New Zealand, who had flatted just at the outset of the race and was 4 minutes down. It's kind of a psychological, devastating blow, but he's experienced. He knows it's a long day out here. If he can just start whittling away that lead, he'll be here on the 2nd loop. One of the surprises, I think, to a lot of the women is Julie Nievergel, but not to me. I've known Julie for a long time. She's 40 years old. She's had a lot of experience racing in Olympic trials recently, has done 5 or 6 Ironman races, is now leading the women's field over Mary Ellen Powers and Andrea Fisher. And here's Mary Ellen Powers in 2nd place, 1:30 down. So the margin is about the same as they got out of the water. And I'm sure Mary Ellen Powers is going to say, who is that first woman in the lead? Julie Nievergel. They get a chance to look at her on this out and back, which is 7 miles out and 7 miles back along the river. 3rd woman, Andrea Fisher. Andrea Fisher was up near the lead, had been dropped by Julie Nievergel, and is now in 3rd place, about 20 seconds behind Mary Ellen Powers. Again, Andrea Fisher will have an opportunity on this 7 miles out and 7 miles back along the river to see the race leaders kind of assess themselves, and they all sort of play a psychological game. Hey, I feel good. It's still early on, but I'm ahead of this game.
Well, not ahead of the game, Melissa Spooner. She's moved up now to 4th position, but is still 4 minutes behind the lead. After 2.5 hours of racing, Tony de Boom has continued to push the pace. His lead has grown to 1:30.
I haven't raced an Ironman in about 1.5 years. I've been training for the Olympic trials, which occurred just about 2 months ago, and I didn't quite make the team, so now I'm back with my first love, Ironman.
And the good news for de Boom is that he continues to increase his lead. The bad news, he has a mechanical problem that he will have to pull over to fix.
I'm standing here with Billy, who's one of the tech guys for the bicycle. We just found out that Tony de Boom dropped this arm pad, which obviously he's going to need, and your job is to do what, Billy?
Try to put it back on as fast as I can.
Are you sure this is the right one?
No, I'm going to have to take a wild guess.
And what if it doesn't work?
I got another bolt in my pocket.
Well, meanwhile, Michael Lovato has moved ahead of Riccatello and Rukasoyev in the battle for second. Over 5.5 minutes back comes a chase pack, 8 athletes in all, trying to keep this race from slipping away. Cameron Widoff is in there. Cameron Brown is not.
Hi, Tim Twardzik, Mrs. T's Pierogies. You folks ever try a pierogi?
What's a pierogi?
Imagine your favorite foods, pasta, potatoes, and cheese, wrapped together in one perfect mouthful.
More!
Eat up, they're ready in minutes and low fat too. There's just one side effect. Mrs. T's Pierogies, we've got happy food down to a T.
For dry, red eyes, clear eyes is a hit. It removes redness and has an ingredient to moisturize. Wow! The difference is clear. Clear eyes.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 8 weeks at just 37 cents a day, a 50% savings. Call now 800-854-2200. That's 800-854-2200 for the Wall Street Journal.
When we saw athletes signing musicians for agents, we weren't surprised. We've been doing it for years.
I really have great plans for you. You're a talent.
I know, but when you go into management, you start singing that gambler song. It takes the edge off.
This look, the tie, the jacket. I can't sell this, man.
You shouldn't be asking, what are we going to give Carl? You should be asking, what aren't we going to give Carl?
They thought you were the pitcher.
Oh. Because without Carl, you have got nothing. Did you hear that? Nothing.
American Tony de Boom continues to build on his lead here in Lake Placid, but he still has to pull over to have his right elbow pad repaired.
We've got Tony de Boom here. We're about 6 miles from Lake Placid. And one of the biggest concerns for Tony is not who's chasing him, even though we got Jimmy Riccatello and Michael Lovato about 1.5 minutes back, is that his elbow pad on his bike has fallen off on one of the turns, and actually one of the tech support people picked up the pad hoping that he's going to be able to stop, put it on quickly. But as an athlete, you don't want to sacrifice that time, so he's got to say, am I comfortable enough right in the position that I'm in, and should I continue, or should I actually take that minute to pull over, because then it's going to be a two-man race. One of the sleepers in this year's race, but I had an opportunity to look at him in Lubbock, Texas in a half Ironman in June, is Michael Lovato from Austin, Texas, who has now taken over the second place and actually has dropped Riccatello, and he just gave us the thumbs up as he's coming by here, obviously feeling very confident, and has closed the gap on Tony de Boom just a little over a minute with about 5 miles outside of Lake Placid on the first loop. He's having a great ride. Just begun the white-faced climb, and the group has really split open. Alek Rukasoyev is now in third, and Jimmy Riccatello is in fourth. But the interesting thing is that their partner, Michael Lovato, has broken away on the climb and has put over a minute on this trail group of two guys. And they've got to have some concern. Who is this Michael Lovato? What's he doing? And Tony de Boom, who's in first place, over 2 minutes ahead. We've got a chase pack of 8 guys, including Cameron Widoff, one of our pre-race favorites. And there's a disadvantage and an advantage of working with a group. Sometimes you get lulled into complacency about saying, well, I'll just drop back 3 or 4 bike lengths and let the lead guy take over. Well, if the pace isn't fast enough, and what we've seen so far it isn't, then all of a sudden that gap begins to widen, and it's now 6 minutes behind Tony DeBoom. One of those guys, and one of the experienced guys, has got to tell himself, can I afford 6 minutes on this first loop, or should I go right now and go after the race leaders? I'd go. We just saw Cameron Brown go by nearly 9 minutes back off the lead, and my concern is why. He had a flat initially, seemed to be able to get back on his bike 4 minutes down early on the lead. That's okay, but to lose another 5 minutes over the last 35 miles, there's got to be a problem. Is it physical? Is it psychological? A combination of the two. And I'm sure he's wondering whether or not he's really going to be in this race. I just saw Julie Nievergelt come by. She's holding on to the women's lead. We're about 45 miles into the race, but she's got a concern behind her. Melissa Spooner is stalking her, Andrea Fisher, and also Mary Ellen Powers. The race is far from being over.
Boy, Dave Scott is getting around today. Well, Mary Ellen Powers is still second, and Nievergelt has built a 1:20 lead, but Powers has closed that to just 30 seconds. Andrea Fisher remains third. She was kicked in the stomach during the swim and has been suffering pain during the bike. But despite this, she too is gaining on the leader. Fisher's deficit, 60 seconds.
We just saw Melissa Spooner come by, and she had a big grin on her face and also a tone of seriousness. She's now only 2 minutes down. We're 45 miles into the ride, and she's got to say to herself, wow, I feel good. I've made up that 4-minute deficit 20 miles back. I'm moving very well, and I'm going to take over this lead when I need to take over the lead. Be patient.
Also on the move, Lauren Alexander Trent over 10 minutes back out of the water. Trent has steadily moved through the field and is now 5th, 5 minutes off the pace and closing in. Last year's runner-up, Mary Uhl, is not having a repeat performance here. In '99, she led on the bike. Today, she finds herself almost 9 minutes off the pace.
Charles Dickens couldn't write a story about this game. Tell me about it. What's this? It's my Ameritrade account. You follow the market? Yeah, I do the research right here. No kidding. Yeah, like I bought this 6 months ago. Said I'd sell if it hit 65, and today it did. How'd you know? I got email alert. I tell Ameritrade what I want to hear about, and then they tell me when it happens. Really? Oh, yeah. Great. I could use that. Yeah. Do the research, get the email, place the trade. Check this. The whole thing cost me a grand total commission of $8. I hate that chicken.
Open a cash account with $500 and get 25 internet equity trades commission-free in the first month. Call 1-800-AMERITRADE. It's how you get somewhere on Wall Street.
Oakland is north and San Diego is south, in the state and in the standings. And on Sunday, the Raiders' potent offense will try to keep it that way. It's the Raiders versus the Chargers at 8:30 on ESPN Sunday Night Football. It's football after dark.
Not everyone in Lake Placid wants to be a triathlete, and as rain threatens, rowing is closer to the water than riding. Let's go back now to Dave Scott.
We're just about 4 hours into the race, approximately 68 to 9 miles into the ride. Tony DeBoom is riding like a free man now. And one of the reasons is that he actually stopped at the halfway point, got off his bike, spent 25 seconds, and put his elbow pad back on that somehow had fallen off around 20 miles into the bike. And I noticed as we were riding by that the plate was just a set of bolts, which obviously he couldn't put his elbow on. It would have been terribly uncomfortable, but allowing the time and having the patience to stop was a great move. He's obviously opened up a gap on the second place guy, Michael Lovato. Just got Michael Lovato coming in right now. Clearly in second place, is broken away from Alec Rukasoyev and Jimmy Riccatello. The amazing thing is Tony DeBoom, in less than 30 miles, and we're just about mile 70 right now, has put on 4.5 minutes on Michael Lovato. Tony's got to say to himself, I haven't run a fast marathon in an Ironman race. I know I'm a good cyclist. If I feel good, I'm going to let it go. And he's obviously letting it fly right now because Michael Lovato is a threat on the run.
So the early leader, Ali Krugersoyev and Jimmy Riccatello, now find themselves dropped into 4th and 5th as the second loop of the bike nears completion.
Hurts more the second time.
The reason? Cameron Widoff is making a late charge on the bike. 13th out of the water, Widoff has now moved into 3rd. Now he has Michael Lovato in his sights. As he moves past Lovato, Widoff finds himself in 2nd place. Only Tony de Boom is left to catch. But de Boom is having the ride of his life. After 100 miles of cycling, he's increased his lead now to a massive 9 minutes. The women are also well into their bike ride. 80 miles of cycling completed, nearly 5 hours of riding. American Mary Ellen Powers has erased a 1:20 deficit on the bike and now leads.
And here's Mary Ellen Powers zooming down the hill, looking completely at ease, going about 35 miles an hour on one of the very fast descents here on the course. But she's got the out and back along the river and then Whiteface Mountain to finish off the bike ride. Comfortable lead right now, a little over 2 minutes on Melissa Spooner and Julie Nievergill. Look at Melissa Spooner, big smile on her face. We pulled up next to her just a minute ago before this descent where she's going about 35 miles an hour. And she looks like she just came out of the shower. She looks fabulous. She's in 2nd place, just a little over 2 minutes behind Mary Ellen Powers. Our earlier leader, Julie Nievergill, is now about 3:10 behind. We spoke to her just briefly out of the car. She said she missed her aid pass at the halfway point, and she's fallen off a little bit of the pace, but still in 3rd place. Lauren Alexander in 4th place, big smile and wave as she went by. There's been sport for a couple years. She had a small child, has raced Ironman distance before, and I think one thing that's restoring her confidence is that she was able to beat Melissa and Mary Wolf earlier this year in a race in Wildflower, and her confidence looked very good. She came by. You see Andrea Fisher going by, and she was kind of holding her stomach a little bit. This is where the time at about 80 miles where a lot of the athletes start having some physical problems. Obviously, 5 hours into the race right now, and it's a concern whether or not you're getting hydrated. And the sun is really hot right now. We start out with a cool morning, but very little wind out here. Humidity is quite high, so they've got to make sure that they're hydrated. And really the most difficult part of the course is yet to come. This last half, this final 10 miles into Lake Placid, is virtually uphill by Whiteface Mountain.
Ironman Live.
Streaming media solutions provided by iBeam.
Hi, Tom Bodette. When did you see the light?
On our mother-daughter bonding trip. We thought, hey, Motel 6, great rooms, great price, and we can spend more quality time together. Right, sweetie? Pumpkin?
Aw, call us and see the light for yourself.
Are you still just sitting here? Boy, get up off your lazy butt. Nothing ever came to anybody just sitting around drinking Sprite all day.
Oh, really?
Now, the more Sprite you drink, the more you can buy. Under every cap, you can get a free Sprite or a Rocket Cash. Online money you can use at Sprite.com. Drink Sprite, get Rocket Cash. Buy what you want.
And pick up all of these little things because they're everywhere.
Introducing the Isuzu 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want to drive your SUV around town all day? You're covered. You want to take it to the most treacherous backcountry you can find? Be our guest. You want to drive it off a cliff? Well, that's where the limited and limited warranty comes in. America's longest warranty. It covers most everything you do. Except, of course, the cliff thing.
Tony de Boom is back in town. He's in total control, and only the run stands between the American and victory.
And here's Tony de Boom finishing the bike ride. A fabulous ride he's had today, just unbelievable. Nothing would be better for Tony if he could join his brother Tim with an Ironman victory.
And Tony de Boom's bike split a sizzling 4 hours, 44 minutes and 22 seconds. But out on the course, Widoff is still holding his own. Now for Tony de Boom, his day's strategy is to be continued. Before it began, he revealed his strategy would be to stay close in the water, push it on the bike, and then hang on during the run. But Widoff was still threatening. And even as the run begins, de Boom appears to be in a spot of trouble.
Here comes Cam Whiteoff, second place, and boy, look at the grit on his teeth. He's got his teeth clenched, and he's got to be extremely happy with the second half of the ride. He not only went through Rukasayev and Riccatello, but he's moved up to clearly into second, and he's a good runner. He's a solid runner, and I think one thing that's missing from Cam is that he hasn't put together a good bike run. This could be the race. And right behind Cam Whiteoff is Dan Dethier from Luxembourg. We haven't mentioned him much. He's been steady throughout the whole bike, had a great solid finish last year in Ironman Canada, and certainly could be a contender. The good thing about the run is that he's got Cam Whiteoff to work together, and he's got to be able to pace with him to see if he can whittle away that lead on Tony de Boom.
De Boom is out on the marathon and still in the lead as he tries to find his stride, but he does look in trouble.
Lovato coming in here in fourth place right now. Had a brilliant first half of the bike. Fell off a little bit in the second half, but we passed him. He looked calm and at ease, and he said, I feel good. I know he's a darn good runner because I raced against him this year in Texas, and he went flying by me.
How you guys doing?
Nice day. A little hot day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warmer than I thought, but you know I'm from Texas, and it's about 105 down there.
Hey, Michael, I wish we got that weather in England. Well, Tony de Boom is still having difficulty. Immediately into the run, he began cramping. So far, he's not been able to relieve the pain. Widolf, Daniel Dethier of Luxembourg, and the others are no longer losing time to de Boom. They're gaining it.
And here comes Mary Ellen Powers, the lead woman. What a fabulous ride she's had. Very patient on the first half. Diligent in her pursuit to catch Julie Niebergeld at about the halfway point, and has maintained the lead over Melissa Spooner, who I know will be stalking her when this run starts. But she's got to be very happy with her ride today. Just a tremendous ride for her. And here's Melissa Spooner coming in just about 2:10 behind Mary Ellen Powers. Very steady on the second half, maintained about a 2-minute margin through the last 56 miles. So they've essentially had an even split on the second half of the bike, and now it comes down the marathon run. Who to pick? I don't know. They're both strong. They're not extraordinary, but today is a nice day. The conditions are perfect out here. A little bit of cloud cover. It's going to be a great, great run.
Well, among the women, their leader, Mary Ellen Powers, has lost precious seconds during the transition. Nievergelt is quickly closing in. Spooner's 2 minutes 10 second deficit is down to 1 minute 45 before even taking a step. Juliana Nievergelt, the leader early on the bike, will begin the run in third. She's 3 minutes back. Fourth goes to Lauren Alexander Trent. She had closed to within 4 minutes of the leader, but struggled on the final climb. She'll begin the run almost 6 minutes down. Andrea Fisher has also fallen off the pace. She's now 9 minutes back, and that kick in the swim has proved costly. Also making her way into transition is Donna Smyers. The 41-year-old veteran amateur actually had the fastest bike split, and in the process has worked her way up to 7th overall.
Think about this. At Mr. Mac, fine quality, long-wearing, two-pants suits at great discount prices. No one touches our prices. Quality two-pants suits with many patterns and colors to choose from. We can fit you sizes 36 to 60. Over 30 years we've been selling superior quality clothing at discount prices. Our two-pants suit is no exception. Mr. Mac, simply the best.
Got the hungries, call the Pizza Pipeline Hotline. No one delivers more taste to your door.
Watching the big game on the tube? Well, round up the guys and do a little dance. Because those guys down at the pipeline have to play it again.
What is a delicious large 2-topping pizza delivered with 2 24-ounce sodas for only $9.99?
I'd call that a bargain. Pizza Pipeline. No one delivers more taste to your door.
When Reggie came to the plate, people stopped.
Reggie had a huge ego, but Reggie was good, and he knew he was good.
He was a terribly, terribly insecure human being.
To see this guy hit 3 home runs out of the ballpark in 1 game of the World Series, I couldn't believe it.
Whether you love him or not, or whether you hate him or not, he won.
Reggie Jackson, Sports Century, the top 50 and beyond. Tomorrow at 8, kicking off a week of sports legends, only on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Welcome back to Lake Placid and the stunning Adirondack Parkland, the location of the 2000 Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon. Things for Tony de Boom, the men's leader, have not improved. If anything, they have got worse. An 11-minute lead off the bike is nearly gone. Cameron Widoff is closing fast, but for now de Boom will continue on in the lead. The position he's held for the past 6.5 hours. Andrea Fisher will not continue on. Her injury during the swim has made things difficult on the bike and impossible on the run. Melissa Spooner has tracked down the front-runner Mary Ellen Powers. It took Spooner over 6.5 hours of hard work, but the effort has paid off. She moves into the lead. The only woman here to win an Ironman race now seems intent on taking her 3rd title. But Juliana Nievergelt is also on the move, as she too passes Powers, and now 2nd. Only Spooner is in the way of her first ever Ironman title. Slowly, the 40-year-old American begins pulling in the 29-year-old Canadian. 30 minutes after taking over the lead, Spooner has been chased down as Nievergelt becomes the latest leader in this great women's event. For Tony de Boom, all hope of winning is gone. This Ironman has turned into a battle to just complete. He can only watch as the first of the men pursuing him goes by. Cameron Widoff is the new leader as the race for first continues without de Boom.
Tony obviously got a bad stitch here. It just started coming on the run.
I've had it since first mile. It won't go away. It just keeps shifting spots, and it's kind of hard to run when you get something stabbing you in the gut.
Our 3rd athlete just coming into view up at one of the very steep grades here at about mile 9.5, Dan Detchier from Luxembourg, about 5.5 minutes down behind Cam Whiteoff, who he just closely followed on the bike. But the thing that Dan may not know is that the first place athlete, Tony de Boom, who was leading off the bike, is now walking. And Cam Whiteoff is the new leader at this point. One of the most humbling elements of the Ironman is the run. Right now we can see Michael Lovato, number 20, coming up the hill, Cameron Brown gliding right by him. And right now we see on the run, there's no coming back. Once an athlete is passed, they're passed for good on the marathon of this Ironman race. One athlete that I failed to mention is Jamie Yan. Virtually lost on the bike, has come all the way up into the top 10 on the run segment. Cameron Brown, we talked about him earlier. Who knows? They could easily be up in the top 2 or 3 by the time this race is over with.
Mud-free mud flaps. Bug-free grills. Some people treat SUVs like they're cars. At Isuzu, we don't build SUVs that get mistaken for cars. That's why we're not afraid to back them with America's longest warranty. Because we know it's more fun getting dirty than getting clean.
It's here. Inside is unlimited strength and power. It can change everything. This is Bowflex, an entire gym in one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance, all in the convenience of your own home. For a free video and brochure, call right now. Bowflex. Who said change isn't easy?
Where the heck is everybody? I'm glad you asked. The success of 3Play from ESPN.com has been tremendous. And now on one of these Nokia mobile phones, you can play just about anywhere. For example, at the country club, dining al fresco, going out to the Hamptons. 3Play from ESPN.com. It's free. It's sports. Give me the briefcase. It's money.
Presented by Nokia Mobile Phones and Pacific Bell Wireless.
College football fans, get in on the action with ESPN Game Plan only on pay-per-view. Order now and get up to 10 games each Saturday. ESPN Game Plan, maximum college football. To order, call your cable company. DirecTV at 1-800-GET-SPORTS or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH.
Welcome back to showdown time in the 2000 Isuzu Ironman. For 8 hours, the men and women have contested a great race at the front, while at the back, the age groupers have fought their own personal battles in a sport that always bites back. The cheers, though, here are for Cameron Widoff. His lead has been increased to nearly 10 minutes. He's back in town, in total control, and only 2 miles remaining before the finish. The final miles will not be as enjoyable for the man in second, Dan Detier, the 38-year-old military man from Luxembourg. He's having the race of his life, but behind him, American Jamie Yon is on the move.
How far back? Not far. Huh? He's coming up behind you. How far?
100 meters.
Of course, first place is out of the question, but second at an Ironman will be by far the best result for either Dan Detier or the man pursuing him, Jamie Yon. With only 3 miles to go, Yon has Detier in his sights. With the pass, Jamie Yon has moved up on the run all the way from 14th to 2nd. Last year, he was unable to complete the inaugural Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid race. Today's result will be a dramatic improvement.
Well, we saw it on the men's race. Tony DeBoom started having trouble. We've seen it on the women's now. Mary Ellen Powers has dropped back, and the 40-year-old Julie Nievergeld is now taking the lead. Melissa Spooner is directly behind her. They are roughly 2 minutes apart, and there's a big smile from Julie, knowing that she's got the lead. And Melissa Spooner's about 15 yards behind. They both look nice and easy, and there's a smile from Melissa as well. It's yet to be over. We're at about the 8-mile mark right now, so it's just a matter of a waiting game. Sometimes it's easier to take the lead because the second person doesn't really know how you feel. The fact that Julie caught Melissa, well, maybe an advantage for Julie. Melissa seemed awfully at ease to me, though, and she was smiling. She might just bide her time for another 10 or 15 miles and say, now I'll make my move.
The woman that began the run with the lead, Mary Ellen Powers, has held third for most of it, but her race has slowed dramatically. Fourth is Lauren Alexander Trent, over 10 minutes back. She's been reduced to walking on the marathon and would soon have to call it a day. First place in the women's race will be decided between Nievergeld and Spooner, but there is another of the women on the move.
Donna Smeyer is one of the most tenacious athletes I've ever met, and her sister Karen, who's obviously been world champion and world renowned for years in the sport. She says Donna always picks the most difficult races. Now, she wasn't pretty to watch, and I admire that because I don't have a pretty form myself. But here she is in 5th place, moving up through the field, look fairly fluid. That's Donna's style.
She's cranking. I told you after she gets out of the water that it's gonna be gravy. She's just gonna reel people in on the bike and the run, and that's what she's doing.
You know, I'm not one to critique running form, Karen. You've seen my running form before.
Like pot calling the kettle black.
Oh my gosh, your sister, she's crooked, she's bent, her feet are turned out to the side, but she's moving. And I said, hallelujah. There's someone who doesn't look pretty out here.
You know, they don't give style points in the Ironman. All that matters is how fast you go, and she gets the job done. You know, she's effective. That's what I'd call her style.
And nobody can argue with that, but with the men, Cameron Widoff can see the finish line of the Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon. He has competed in Hawaii the past 10 years, top 15 on 4 occasions, but never until today has he won an Ironman title. Still in 2nd place, Jamie Yon is on the final stretch.
Cam, we watched you on the bike. We said, what is Cam Widoff doing? Is he just being conservative? Does he know his game that well? And then all of a sudden, that second half of the bike, it was like he had a whole new engine.
Yeah, I just, again, I mean, Tony was doing a great job out there, and I didn't like what he was doing, so I just had to go. I mean, the bus was leaving the station, and I just wanted to make sure I still was in contact because I didn't know what Tony was up to. I mean, if he had had a great run, you know, he just had some trouble out there today, but, you know, no telling next year. He'll probably figure some stuff out, so.
Jamie Yon, in his 3rd Ironman of the season, has his best result ever at an Ironman. And so Cameron Widoff wins for the USA in 8 hours, 46 minutes and 5 seconds. Jamie Yon fought up to 2nd place. Cameron Brown of New Zealand got 3rd, and Dan Dettier from Luxembourg 4th, with Eric Bean in 5th.
Well, Cameron, you deserve the chair after that admirable day out there, down with a flat tire initially on the bike, and I know you struggled through the bike segment, but came back from virtually no man's land to claim 3rd in this race. Tremendous race.
Yeah, I was happy. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty depressed after the flat tire. I got to my bike after the swim and just pedaled down the about 50 meters, and I had a flat tire. So it was depressing, but I sort of, you know, got through it on the bike and you know, started to try and come around and finally sort of picked up ground on the run. And so I'm happy. It's you know, you have bad luck and it happens.
For the past hour, American Juliana Nevegelt, the mother of 2, and 2-time Ironman champion Canadian Melissa Spooner have been battling one another on the marathon. Both have surged in an attempt to break the will of the other, but only to be chased down again. After over 8 hours of racing, Spooner has built a slight lead when the unexpected happens. Nevegelt is forced to make a stop in the woods, while Spooner carries on alone. The gap quickly begins to grow.
Ironman Live.
Streaming media solutions provided by iBeam.
When did you folks see the light?
On a trip to my sister's, I said, why waste money when we can stay at Motel 6, didn't I, hon? Now see what happens when you listen. It's like that fear he had of cauliflower wouldn't go near the produce section.
Call us and see the light for yourself.
Introducing the Isuzu 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want to drive your SUV around town all day? You're covered. You want to take it to the most treacherous backcountry you can find? Be our guest. You want to drive it off a cliff? Well, that's where the limited and limited warranty comes in. America's longest warranty. It covers most everything you do. Except, of course, the cliff thing.
Your 2-minute drill begins now.
Which head coach led Nebraska? Which Buccaneers fullback was
Which tennis phenom defeated Steffi
Which high
Graf?
schooler did the Clippers draft? Greg Vaughn.
UNLV.
Joe Gibbs. Correct.
Yes!
Test your sports knowledge by watching the ultimate sports quiz show.
What White Sox slugger's nickname is the Big Hurt?
Frank Thomas.
Correct. Which Pittsburgh Steeler rushed?
What team lost to Duke on the last second shot?
Charles Oakley. Cy Young. Don Sutton.
Florida.
ESPN's 2-minute drill. Have you got the answer? Mondays and Thursdays at 7.
Monday Night Countdown, every week at 7:30 on ESPN.
The 2000 Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon is brought to you by IronmanLive.com and by Isuzu. We don't make cars because life is too big for cars.
Well, the sign of a champion is patience, and patience is what it took today. Melissa Spooner, with about 3 miles to go, is in command. Julie Nievergeld, who she was running with, her running mate, is not in sight in my picture right now, and it's Melissa's game today. She told me before the race, my mind is in the right mindset. I'm ready to win.
Well, 4.5 minutes behind Spooner is Juliana Nievergeld. She's now lost contact with the leader. Canadian Melissa Spooner is back in Lake Placid on the final stretch, and she won Ironman Lanzarote in 1998, then took Ironman New Zealand a year later, and now she is going to capture her 3rd title in as many years as she takes the victory at the Isuzu Ironman USA Lake Placid Triathlon. For Spooner, this one may be the sweetest of them all. For the first time, her husband Chris is at the finish line to join in the celebration. Juliana Nievergeld is yet to finish in what will be her finest ever performance. Let's go to Dave Scott with Melissa.
This was good for me to have that desire, and I'm pretty psyched.
Well, congratulations on your victory. The crowd is sure behind you here.
Oh, they were awesome. You know, Lake Placid, I don't normally say this, you know, but I would love to come back. It was a great spot, really great.
Well done, Melissa, and Julie Nievergeld will still have plenty to celebrate. Her 2nd place finish is the best Ironman result ever for the 40-year-old mother of 2. And what an incredible performance by 41-year-old Donna Smyers. We normally talk about Karen. She had the best bike of all the women today and worked her way up on the run to not only win the 40 to 44 age group, but take 4th place as well. So for the 2nd year, a Canadian woman takes the title. Argentina's Barbara Buenahora comes from 13th after the bike to take 3rd.
Well, Donna, no longer are you going to be in the limelight of your sister, all right? Today's your day. A fabulous bike. We were getting this bliss actually from Karen, who said you were just annihilating the whole field. And then when we saw you on the run, I said, who is that woman who's just motoring through everyone? Great day.
Thank you very much. I felt really good on the bike. I feel really strong. I was dying on the run some, but everybody else was dying as bad as me, I think.
Well done, Donna. And Donna Smyers is just one of the hundreds of amateur athletes who have traveled to Lake Placid, New York to chase their dream. Each athlete has their own reason for tackling this grueling event, over 140 miles in total. Many will take almost the entire 17 hours allotted to complete this race before the magical midnight cutoff. But perhaps the most inspiring story of this day belongs to one of the professionals. Tony de Boom has been forced to walk most of the 26.2-mile marathon, passed by 32 competitors along the way, but in the end, on this day, he too is an Ironman.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com.
For the very first time, the Ironman triathlon family comes to the beautiful sandy beaches of Panama City, Florida, for a new event on the Ironman World Tour. Panama City is the perfect host, with miles of spectacular white sand beaches, the tranquility of the Gulf of Mexico, and the hospitality to match. Couple this with a sun-splashed climate, and it's the ideal spot for just about any outdoor pursuit, including the inaugural Isuzu Ironman Florida Triathlon here on ESPN. It's just after 5 a.m. and this Ironman is opening its eyes to start what promises to be a very long day. Preparations are underway for all who are here to challenge themselves in the ultimate distance. It's the Ironman, and it commands respect. Everyone has their own way of getting ready for the day, some conventional, and some use home recipes known only to them. Over 1,500 are here racing, but only a handful can expect to win. Germany's Wolfgang Dietrich is the first of the big talent to arrive. The 37-year-old Dietrich is on the backside of his storied Ironman career, and he hopes he has one big performance left.
As you can see, the truck...
The man with the sunrise smile is fellow countryman Andreas Niedrig. Niedrig is a great swimmer and rider too, but to win must now put together a stellar marathon. But Niedrig's biggest foe today could be fatigue. Just 2 weeks ago in the Hawaiian sun, Niedrig came to the finish line of the Ironman World Championship in the top 15. Can he recover to be a threat in another Ironman just 14 days later? He's in uncharted water. The undisputed favourite here is the third member of the German trio, 28-year-old Lothar Lieder. The enigmatic leader can be brilliant and arguably as talented as anyone in the sport. One need look no further than this performance in Germany in 1996, when he became the first athlete in the world to break the magical 8-hour barrier at the Ironman distance. And just 2 weeks ago, he actually led the Ironman World Championship in Hawaii when he was disqualified for drafting. His biggest dreams were shattered.
That's the championship.
And in the women's race, it's yet another German as a pre-race favourite. 31-year-old Katja Meyer has been in over 20 Ironman races in her career, but has never come first. Could today be the day? Meyer's competition includes the top American coming into this event, Christian Johnson of Charlotte, North Carolina. She's an accomplished amateur triathlete, and she turned pro this year and is now attempting to make the tough transition to the next level. As in all Ironman races, perhaps the most compelling stories lie with the age groupers who are here to tackle the same Ironman distance as the pros. Take 54-year-old Sandra Bowden of Toronto. If there is any truth in DNA, she should be fine out there today, and her name just might sound familiar. Daughter Laurie won the biggest triathlon in the world, the Hawaiian Ironman last October in Kona.
People started saying to me, Laurie could win this race. When I started hearing this and I started seeing it on the internet, I thought, oh my God, Laurie's gonna win this race this year.
And Mom was right, she did win it, and now it's her turn to tackle the distance. At 54, Sandra Bowden is a toddler compared to 82-year-old Jim Ward. The oldest man to ever finish the Hawaiian Ironman, Ward is here now to try and rewrite the record books. He'd be the first man over 80 to finish an Ironman race, but he's got competition. 81-year-old Norton Davey is here to push him for the over 80 crown. Now, can you believe that? The sun is rising over the Gulf of Mexico at the inaugural Isuzu Ironman Florida Triathlon here in Panama City. Approaching the 7 a.m. start, and the almost 1,600 athletes are making their way to the swim start on the white sandy beaches of Panama City.
Good luck.
Now, just moments before the start. All the last-minute doubts and questions must be answered as this Ironman race is about to get underway. Well, there it is, the start of the Isuzu Ironman Florida Triathlon, and the pros will take about 8 to 9 hours to complete the distance, and the age groupers have 17 hours, all until midnight. Up for grabs today, 100 qualifying spots for the 2000 Ironman World Championship in Kona, Hawaii in October. As the athletes head into the beautiful Gulf of Mexico, we'll step aside from Panama City and back with more after this. The Isuzu Ironman Florida Triathlon is brought to you by Isuzu. We don't make cars because life is too big for cars. And by IronmanLive.com, your only source for live coverage of Ironman events and official Ironman merchandise.
Mud-free mud flaps. Bug-free grills. Some people treat SUVs like they're cars. At Isuzu, we don't build SUVs that get mistaken for cars. That's why we're not afraid to back them with America's longest warranty. Because we know it's more fun getting dirty than getting clean.
Freeze.
Cute. And you are?
I'm the man of your dreams.
Well, that's highly unlikely.
What if I said I could help you make that collect call cheap and easy? Just use 1-800-COLLECT. It's cheap, it's easy. The cheap part is you save a buck or two. The easy part is
1-800-COLLECT, as in collect calls. Now that's easy to remember.
Go ahead, heartbreaker. Dial like a man. Did I mention I'm cheap and easy too?
No. Your history.
1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
Just getting by isn't enough. I want to succeed. That means doing more, being smarter, performing at my best. It's a demanding life, and it uses up nutrients. New Centrum Performance helps replace them.
It starts as a complete Centrum Multi. Then we add energy essential nutrients, including increased levels of key B vitamins, antioxidants, plus ginseng and ginkgo.
It helps energize my mind and body. Life's demanding, but I thrive on it.
Centrum Performance. Life demands it.
So, they've got this new golden dollar coin. I know what you're thinking. Why isn't George on it? Well,